Hello everyone, this is Maleyko. I'm the superintendent for Dearborn Schools. I got to tell you that March is reading month, an important month in the school district. I would tell you though, reading is important all times of the year, not just March, but we do tend to highlight reading during March. And one of the things I can tell you is my schedule is absolutely booked up everywhere. I'm going to be going to all of the, or most of the schools. I've already kind of made an appearance at the superhero theme at Becker. And part of the thing is I really enjoy is, I've been really trying to get into the schools. And last year I had 396 visits. Some of it was for reading. This year I'm well underway to kind of either be close to that number or above that number. And so March is one of those that I can really get in and spend time with students. And that's my favorite thing to do, is to be in the schools with students. And so reading is one of those things. And so I know I was talking to Mr. Shigfrey, our production manager here just before, and we thought that this book today to read would be appropriate. Willow and the Snow Day Dance. Part of that has to do not so much with the elementary students, but especially the high school students that like to convince me to call snow days, regardless of the temperature, even if it's, a little bit of rain. They like, well, where's the snow day? And so I could say, as I've had a lot of fun going into elementary schools, meeting with the students, I've also had fun with the high school students that are members of my advisory council, and they like to have fun. So we like to joke a little bit about the snow day. It's an ongoing joke, and I'm glad that we can have that dialogue and just kind of connect with students. So let me get started with the Willow and the Snow Day Dance. And some of those high school students or elementary, maybe they want to try some of the techniques in here. We'll see what happens. This is by Denise Brennan-Nelson, and I know that we do have copyright permission to produce this, so I just wanted to make that disclaimer out there. So glad to be able to come here today and read on television for the students. So we'll get started. Mr. Larch never had visitors, not even on holidays. Only the mailman had a reason to approach the gray house, known to the neighborhood kids as the cave. On the rare occasion when you might catch a glimpse of Mr. Larch, he was stooped over, twisted and knotted like an old apple tree. And he always wore a hat, but he never wore a smile. His yard was lifeless. No flowers in the spring or summer. No birdhouses or feeders in the fall months. When yards were decorated with pumpkins, scarecrows, and ghosts, Mr. Larch's yard was bare. And in the winter, Mr. Larch posted signs that made it clear to the neighborhood kids that there would be no sledding on his hill. Across the street, in a canary yellow house with turquoise shutters and a cherry red door, a little girl and her family were moving in. Willow loved her new house and neighborhood. A tire swing hung from the sycamore tree in the backyard. There were sidewalks, a basketball hoop, and a place to plant a garden. Behind the quiet gray house, there was a hill. Willow imagined it frosted in snow like a vanilla cupcake. It would be the perfect hill for sledding. Willow helped her mom clean out the flower beds and dig up a sunny patch of lawn for a vegetable garden. They had brought plants and clippings from their other house, but there was room for more. Dear neighbors, I am planting a garden and in need of all types of seeds and seedlings. Can you help? Your friend and neighbor, Willow. Her generous neighbors kept Willow and her mom busy all spring. Before long, summer arrived. Everyone admired Willow's garden. The birds and butterflies, even the deer enjoyed the colorful plants and flowers Willow and her mom had carefully planted, mulched, and watered. Willow cut flowers from her garden and made bouquets to share with her neighbors, even Mr. Larch. Dear neighbors, thank you for all the plants. I especially like the sunflowers. Claude Monet would be proud. Your friend and neighbor, Willow. P.S. I'm looking for scraps for my garden art projects. Can you help? Some illustrations here. In autumn, Willow shared vegetables from her garden with her neighbors, even Mr. Larch. The annual hat and mitten drive was underway at school, and once again Willow's request for help was answered. Dear neighbors, thank you for all the mittens, hats, and scarves. The charity drive at my school was a big success. Lots of heads and hands will be warm. Your friend and neighbor, Willow. Winter was just around the corner. Every night, Willow fell asleep thinking of all the things she would do when it snowed. Best of all, when those soft white crystals fell from the sky, there was always the possibility of a snow day. Oh no. Nothing I want, but Willow helped her dad get the winter boots and coats out of the boxes in the attic and wax the sleds and saucers. Now all she needed was snow. She waited and waited and waited, but the north winds didn't leave a sigh, much less blow. Day after day went by and still no sign of snow. I think it's like those high school students on Twitter, hoping and hoping. That's my own commentary. One day, Willow overheard the teachers discussing the unusually warm weather. "How long will our luck hold out?" said one to the other. "I heard we're not supposed to get any snow all winter," was the reply. As soon as Willow got home from school, she wrote and delivered another letter to her neighbors. Dear neighbors, I'm in need of snow. Can you help? Your friend and neighbor, Willow. Everyone laughed at Willow's request. Well, almost everyone. The next day, Willow found a mysterious note in her mailbox. The Snow Day Dance. When the weatherman is predicting the chance of precipitation, follow these directions. Before going to your bed, put your pajamas on inside out and backwards. Tape a penny to your door or put a spoon under your pillow, whichever you prefer. Get up on your bed and do a dance. The sillier, the better. Get your family to do it with you. The more people that participate, the better. Oh no, I hope it doesn't work. A dance to make it snow. Willow couldn't wait to try it. A few days later, Willow heard the weatherman predicting winds out of the north and the slight possibility of snow. She made copies of Snow Day dance instructions and took them to school to pass them out to every student and teacher. And when Willow got home, she left the instructions at every house in the neighborhood. That night, she taped a penny to her door, put a spoon under her pillow, and with her pajamas on backwards and turned inside out, Willow did the silliest dance she could. Sounds like some of those elementary students last year that I know of. Again, that's my commentary. Those Dearborn elementary students. And she wasn't the only one. When Willow woke the next morning, she ran to her window. Written in the snow with snowballs of all shapes and sizes, sparkling in the early morning light, were those magical words, Snow Day. And behind the house, on the perfect hill for sledding, where the keep-off sign used to be, wearing a stocking cap and the biggest smile you've ever seen, was Mr. Larch.